Alright folks, I got something to show you guys really quick. Look what is back. The beast is alive and I'm very happy to say it's quiet and smooth. We just went for a quick drive and look at this thing. It's amazing. It's driving really well. The engine is smooth and quiet. I can feel there's a lot of power waiting to be unleashed, but obviously we just rebuilt this engine, so we can't go too hard on it. We're going to be driving very gently for a couple of kilometers, at least 1,000 kilometers, and then hopefully we're gonna put a tune, and then we're gonna know what's this engine capable of. And look, I'm just excited. It's just another engine that we have successfully built up, but this one was different again. It had a Chinese parts, it had a bunch of used parts that we shouldn't have used, but we did. So now we kind of know how far we can push certain things, and well, this was successful. So oh, that is the beast. Look at that. Okay folks, the video you just watched was actually recorded about 2 months ago. I finished my work and was packing up to go on holidays, and the car owner called me to say the car has started and he really wants to show me the car before I head overseas. And well, I must agree, yes, I was craving for that, so it was a good idea. Now, he also lives here in Sydney, about an hour from me. I met him halfway, drove for about half an hour, got to see the car, got to see the engine running. We actually drove the car up and down the national park. I made a couple of videos, which are the ones that you just saw, and headed my way. After about a month and a half holidaying through Brazil, I finally made it back to Australia last week. Gave him a call to see where he was at, and he put on over 2,000 kilometers on the car. He's done an oil change because he was still using the braking oil that we put when we rebuilt the engine, and I questioned whether he wanted to tune the car or not, and he decided to go and remain stock for the time being because he said the car has a lot of power, the engine is running very smoothly, so he doesn't want to mess things up. And that is the reason why I decided to make a follow-up and an update video for you guys, because of two things. Basically, the first thing in line is why the car didn't start, why the car wouldn't crank when we finished the rebuild. If you are new to the channel, if you haven't watched the previous videos, you might not know that we fully rebuilt this engine. We got the car with a seized engine, we stripped the engine apart, we sent the parts away, we got new parts, got the block sleeved, fully rebuilt the engine, put it back in the car, and there were some gremlins going on electrically wise, okay, and software wise. It wasn't actually a physical issue, it was more a software or coding related issue. I tried my best. Through probably 2.5 weeks, we couldn't get it sorted, and I was about to go on holidays in a few weeks, so the owner just decided to take the car away and get it sorted at his mechanic. To cut the story short, they tried to reprogram, reflash all the ECUs for I think probably 2.5 weeks. That wasn't successful, so they reached out to someone in Germany who eventually remotely access the car and reflash and code all the car. 1,500 euros later, the car cranks. Once the car was cranking, they put the spark plugs, they put the coils, they hook up all the fuel lines, and the engine started beautifully. That was the issue why the car wouldn't crank. It was a software issue, it wasn't a physical issue on the car. Now, and number two in line is how were the Chinese parts? What happened to the used parts that you put in the engine? Because if you remember, we reused the same oil pump, we reused the same oil change, the tensioners, the same PCV. We reused a bunch of parts that I wouldn't really use on my own build, but the owner decided to go that way, and he asked me to put those parts back in the engine. They're holding on, okay? The owner is going full send on the car. It's driving really well, and he hadn't had any issues. The Chinese parts, the King Tech parts that we installed on the engine, they also going very well. So for the people asking me, how is it, would you buy them for your own car? Well, in fact, I did, because I'm working on a different project, which is my own car. And I bought King Tech rods and pistons just before I head to Brazil. They came to me, they arrived to me, and unfortunately the sizing for the big end on the rods were slightly different than what I wanted. So I reached out to King Tech, I had a chat to them, and they say, look, yeah, there's been a mistake, we're going to remake the rods and we're going to send it to you. What's the correct size you want us to make it? And honestly, I thought I would never hear from them again. In fact, we just got a package last week. We received a new package with the rods. I measured them up today. They are the perfect size. So good news, the parts are good quality. Now they fix up on the sizing. So I'm hoping to rebuild my engine this week and probably put it on the car in a few weeks or maybe a few months time. And I'm gonna tune the heck out of that. For now, the F10 M5 is going to remain stock. And this is the perfect happy ending to the F10 M5 engine rebuild series. Now, it is the last video on that particular car. We're just starting the channel. We're just beginning to scratch the surface of what's going to be done with the N63, S63 engines. Hoping to get some S58s coming out on the channel very shortly, maybe some B58s as well. And I think that's it, what I have to say to you guys today. We are at the national park now, so we're gonna go back for another run, and beautiful M5. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.